Hey, how's it going everybody? I'm Shadow Stitch and I like solo running Pokemon Black and White. So last week we kicked off Spooky Month where I played with Golurk and that thing was actually pretty solid. I do think that it struggled a lot in the early game, but this is kind of just what you get for some of these Pokemon that, just take forever to evolve. And while Ghost and Ground is a great typing, there is a lot of things, especially in the early game, that can hold it back. So overall, though, as we bring in the tier list, we see it did land an incredibly good B tier placement, even above things like Hydreigon, which is awesome, and it was just a ton of fun nonetheless. So definitely go check that one out if you haven't already. All the rest of the Pokemon on here do have videos on the channel, and there's still plenty of re-ranks that I have to do to fill out this tier list a little bit more. But if you want to see my full catalog or you see anything that piques your interest, there is a playlist linked down below at the end of the video and on that little iCard thing right there. So go check that out if you are interested. But stick around because, of course, we're going to be continuing on with Spooky Month by playing the goth girl herself, Gothitelle. So something I've noticed with this Pokemon is either you really like it or you just kind of hate it. So I definitely fall on the like it side. I think that this Pokemon is actually very well designed. I think it's a great design. It's super cool. It pairs really well with Reuniclus as well as its, other counterparts for the generation. And just overall, I think it's a good Pokemon. Even in competitive, while it didn't start out great, eventually did get access to its hidden ability, Shadow Tag, and that really turned this thing on. So it definitely became a really solid support Pokemon, especially in the VGC format. I myself have actually used this thing in one of my draft leagues. Then it just did incredible is a support Pokemon. It gets things like Fake Out, Helping Hand, Trick Room. It gets a lot of great utility options, and I'm really enjoying that Pokemon as a competitive VGC Pokemon. But is any of that actually going to transfer into being good in a solo challenge? Well, we're going to find that out today as we kick things off. You see the rules on screen and all that fun stuff. So if you want to check out the description for more, feel free to go right ahead. But let's get into it and see how the Gothitelle-line does in Pokemon Black and White. As we get things started, let's go ahead and break down what we're working with Gothita, the first form. So this little guy, absolutely adorable. I love it. It's awesome. It's super cute. And it's got a lot going for it. So as for the stats, 65 in special defense as its top stat is not the best because we're not going to be taking that many special attacks in the early game especially, but overall it's not too bad. 55 special attack is definitely very serviceable. 50 defense and 45 HP gives us some pretty decent bulk. 45 speed is, not great, but, it's definitely a little bit better than some Pokemon that we've been doing recently, and it is a pure Psychic type. So we haven't had the best track record with pure Psychic types in the past, but, Bahiam definitely kind of surprised me a little bit in its re-rank, so who knows, maybe we got something going on with it here today. So the ability that we're going to be going with today is Frisk, because this is our only actual option. So in Black and White 1, I don't allow myself to use hidden abilities, and its hidden ability, Shadow Tag, really wouldn't be that useful anyway because the AI basically never switches, and its secondary ability, Competitive, doesn't exist yet. That was introduced in later generations, although that would have been absolutely incredible. So, but yeah, what you gonna do? As for our starting moves, we start off with Pound and Confusion, which is actually fantastic. We get a pretty strong stab move early, and actually we get something right from the start that allows us to hit dark types, which is pretty big. for, you know, a psychic type in this game. Normally, we have to grind up a whole bunch like we did with Behem to get to level 11 so we could even start the game against N's first Purloin. Or even like Reuniclus's run, we had to grind up a little bit to get to rollout. And yeah, so at least we have a decent move getting things started. As you might see in the background right here, though, I am still going to be grinding a little bit, but we see that we're actually gaining experience really well, and that's because we have a medium slow growth rate. This is arguably the best growth rate in the solo challenge sphere, and for good reason. It levels up incredibly quickly in the early game where you really want to, especially with these evolving kind of weak first stage Pokemon. So let's go ahead, continue through this. I'm actually going to be able to take care of N pretty easily thanks to grinding up to level 8. I'm over a damage rounding threshold, and that's pretty awesome. So very nice, and we can go ahead and continue on with the introduction here as we get into Route 2. Once we hit level 32, we're going to be able to evolve up into Gothitelle. And this is a very, once again, a very, if you like it, you like it. If you hate it, you hate it kind of Pokemon. And yeah, I kind of like it. Sure, it's kind of a weird, awkward middle stage, but overall, I think it's not too bad. So again, we have a great special defense with 75 in special attack, 70 defense, and 60 HP. So not too bad. And we get a little bit more speed. We can go ahead and touch on some other great moves that we learned by level up. We get Psyshock, which is a very powerful psychic type move at level 25. This is 80 base power, and it's very cool. It allows you to use your special attack to hit on the physical side, which kind of doesn't come into play too much, but it's still a really unique option, and I think that's just really cool. So after that, we'll get to level 39, where we will learn Psychic, and that's just, of course, going to be our go-to option. And once we hit level 41, we will go ahead and evolve up into Gothitelle, which, of course, is going to be our main focus for the video here today. So real quick though, we are taking care of our rivals right here. We have picked up things like fake tears, so we can actually get lower special defense and easily power through our rivals. So let's go ahead and break down Gothitelle real quick as we make our way through the gym. So this Pokemon, again, 110 special defense, which is actually going to be very useful because as we get later on in the game, we're going to be taking more and more special hits, so that's really solid. Special attack at 95, not the best, but definitely very good. I will definitely take that. And it's a little low on HP, but it has gotten a nice bump up to 95 special defense, and as well as with 65 base speed, not too bad. Everything in the level up move pool we've pretty much gotten at that point, but we're going to go ahead and take a touch on the TM side of things because we get some great coverage like Shadow Ball, Thunderbolt, Grass Knot, Charge Beam, Energy Ball, even though that one's post-game. But there is one kind of big thing missing. We don't get Focus Blast, which is something a lot of other psychic types have been kind of relying on. And or Hidden Power, which all the other psychic types so far that we've done have pretty much had to rely on pretty heavily. And that's why we are actually going to be still trying to go for Hidden Power in this run, but we're going to go ahead and touch on that later. Let's face off with our first gym leaders. So like I touched on earlier, Gothitelle is looking really good here with Fake Tears. This is a great status move, allows us to drop the special defense by 2 stages, and with us hitting with some pretty strong stab psychics, we are easily able to take care of Silent. Incredibly easy first try right there. You'll love to see it. So let's go ahead and get on out of here, meet up with Fennel. As she's talking about what we need to do, I will actually mention we are going to be running a modest nature this time around. This is going to be a boost to our special attack, but at the cost of lowering our attack. I couldn't really afford to lower either one of my defenses, so even though we are doing things like pounding down these purloins with our lowered attack, it's still not really that bad because, like I said, with that medium slow growth rate, we are leveling up pretty quickly in the early game right here, and that's pretty good. So let's go ahead and grab our monkey, cut down a tree, beat up a couple dudes in the dream yard right here, get Fennel her science stuff, and then we can head out towards Route 3. At the preschool, we can heal up, but we can also do a bunch of great training right here, where we're going to be facing off with our first other psychic type. It is a little bit annoying because Mana loves putting us to sleep, but after that we are able to learn Psybeam, which is going to be a fantastic upgrade to Confusion. Very powerful, and as we fire it away on these Pampors, we're able to easily one-shot that. And with that, we can very easily deal with Cheren as we make our way to the Wellspring Cave, as well as the plasma dudes in there, catch ourselves a couple HM friends, and pick up the glitched rare candy in the grass before heading into Nacrene City. Cheren's gonna hook us up with those gesto berries, and then we're off to Pinwheel Forest after I grab that Ultra Ball in the patio. I really gotta start remembering to grab that on the first way through, but it is still a pretty new addition to my routing, so there's that. I am actually going to skip the nurse right away and go straight into the forest where I'm gonna battle pretty much everybody in here. They don't give amazing experience outside of my boy Kita with the 3 Timpoles, but we need pretty much all the experience that we're going to be able to get because, yeah, Lenora's going to be pretty rough. So, after grabbing a couple ethers, we're going to battle the nurse to get nice and topped off and set up that healing point for later, and then go deposit our team after we picked up a couple of more HM friends. N is no problem on the outside of the gym, and neither are any of the gym trainers. So let's go ahead and start our little torture session with Lenora. So Lenora is just a textbook example of why first stage Pokemon struggle in the early game here. We are able to knock out the Herdier pretty consistently, but of course the Watchog in the back is just going to outspeed and knock us out. So we are back to good old-fashioned Lenora blackout grinding, but as we see, we're able to relatively do this pretty consistently. It's just gonna come down to you know, how much luck that we can get right here. We see the Herdier is always going to basically knock itself out with a takedown as long as it hits. We can potentially live a hit from the Watchog, so that's pretty cool. So I'm kind of just relying on Confusion potentially from Psybeam because it does look like it's going to be a 3-shot. Maybe we can get to the next damage rounding threshold at level 25. I'm really hoping it doesn't take that much, but let's go ahead and skip right ahead to the winning attempt. Alright, let's go. Only 7 blackouts in, not too bad. We get a Psybeam crit to immediately knock out the Herdier, and we also pick up Psyshock as we hit level 25. With the extra power, we're able to actually 2-shot the Watchog, and there we go. Pretty easy. So, sure, we got put to sleep. Chesto Berry could only save us from 1, but that's all good, and there we go. So once again, so a little bit of luck behind that Lenora fight, but you know, it's just kind of bound to happen sometimes with this. So let's see the Plasma Dude steal a skull for some reason and chase them into Pinwheel Forest. As we get into Pinwheel Forest, we have the first grunt right here, and they have a Sandile. So I was actually really hoping that I would be able to not hit level 25 at Lenora, so I would have Pound for this. And as we see, she torments me when I'm at 5 HP, and I just barely make my way through that fight with only 5 HP left because Torment is just the worst. So yeah, I was really hoping to still have Pound just for that purpose, you know, entirely, but it's okay. So I do think that Feint Attack was still pretty worth it. And as we make our way through the rest of the forest right here, we're actually going to pick up our first coverage move, Grass Knot. So we finally have a decent coverage option that uses our much better special attack. So there's that. So after clearing out the last plasma guy, we're going to take care of the trainers on the bridge and then head into Castalia City. As soon as we get into the big city, we're going to stop by the Pokemon Center and go right back out just to set our blackout respawn point just in case. Then we're going to go ahead and grab the Arrest TM in the first skyscraper, then head up to the North Street and pick up the Eviolite. Of course, this is going to be a fantastic held item for us because we will not be evolving into our final form anytime soon, and I will definitely take a 50% increase to our defense and special defense along the way. So I will, it's just one of the best held items ever created, really. So after that, we're going to battle a couple of fishermen out here on Route 4. They give great experience as well as speed EVs, and they're pretty easy to knock out, and we're already up here, so we might as well. So after that, I'm going to go ahead and start the little plasma chase sequence, head into the battle company to do even more training, and then clear out the plasma dudes on the size tree. The gym trainers are actually super easy, no worries whatsoever. We basically one-shot everything, and then we can face off with Berg. After all that training, we're sitting at level 30 for Berg, and because of that, we can just go straight for a Psybeam, one-shot the Whirlwind, one-shot the Dwebble. Levani comes out, Fake Tears. It does crit us with the Razor Leaf. That's not great, and it is living into the red. But as long as we don't get crit one more time, which we don't, we can just knock it out, and there we go. Nice and easy first try win. So definitely makes sense that he was going for Razor Leaf. I was kind of expecting a little bit more of a fight thanks to Struggle Bug, you know, lowering our special attack, but we do have much worse physical defense, and Struggle Bug is just terrible in this game, so that makes sense why he was going for Razor Leafs. So let's go ahead and top off, battle Bianca here in the gatehouse. She's incredibly easy, so we can heal up at the rest house right here before we face off with Cheren. This fight is insanely close, cuts way closer than I ever wanted it to, but at the end of it, we do get the dub, and we hit level 32, so that means that we evolve into our second form just in time to get into Nimbasa City. After chasing off some plasma dudes, getting a bike from some old guy, and having a quick chat with Bianca, we are set free into Nimbasa City, and I'm going to actually stop over in Anvil Town to grab the rare candy really early. So there are a couple of rare candies that are available earlier than I usually grab them. The best one, in my opinion, is Anvil Town right here. If I wanted to go get Route 16 candy, I have to go grab my party. That kind of messes up some potential blackout areas if I'm using a Pokemon that might struggle against some of these fights, and yeah, overall it's just kind of a mess. So I've actually incorporated picking up the Anvil Town candy into these runs where I want to have a second or potentially third rare candy somewhere in the mid game. So I'm still going to top off and buy some hyper potions. Then it's going to be time for our wonderful date with N. After riding the Ferris wheel, his battle is actually very free. Thankfully, the Scraggy doesn't give us any problems, and we can head into the gym. No problems with the gym trainers, so let's go ahead and face off with Elisa. So this fight is pretty straightforward. We just have to do a bunch of damage. I'm gonna actually go for Psybeams because I don't know if Psyshock is actually going to be getting the one-shots anyway, and the chance to get confusions is pretty good, and all these things are really going to do is just kind of Volt Switch around and stuff like that. So Molga's going to come out here. I'm going to go for a Psyshock, finish that off. Zebstrika looks like it's going to be a two-shot, but she paralyzes me, and I just kind of get stuck in paralysis, wait one too many times, and we take a reset, which is just really unfortunate. Second time around, it is pretty much exactly the same fight, except we just don't get paralyzed and screwed over this time. So nice and easy, and there we go. We get our 4th gym badge. You love to see it. Unfortunate reset, but sometimes you just gotta pay back the good luck that I got on the Lenora fight with some bad luck on Elisa. It is what it is. So let's go ahead, do a little bit of Pokemon dress up with Bianca, and head out towards Route 5 to meet up with Cheren. So I said it once, I've said it 100 times, this is by far the most annoying fight that he has, but it actually seems like it's a little bit better with Pokemon like Gothitelle, because it doesn't like to torment, so that means that I can actually spam some of my best moves right now, and because of that is actually completely free. Sure, the Tranquil's annoying with Detect and Leech Seed shenanigans, but overall we actually get through pretty quickly, so that's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and beat up some toddlers, and then after that we're going to battle the Sigilyph guy for some good experience and special attack EVs, then head into Driftvale City. So as I alluded to earlier, we're actually going to be going for Hidden Power in this run. So that's why I'm going to be battling this optional youngster right here, because he does have a Carablast. This is like the quickest and easiest way to encounter and see a Carablast in the game. So as well as grabbing a PP up in the trash can. So if you forgot, you need to be able to have seen 115 unique Pokemon, and then Professor Juniper back in New Town will give you the TM for Hidden Power. Normally, this is something that you cannot get without exceptional planning as you make your way through the game. And yeah, you have to do a whole bunch of optional battles. However, we're not going to be going for Hidden Power before the League. And that might actually kind of surprise you, because, you know, Grimsley is going to be a massive problem for this Pokemon. So how am I going to get through that? Don't worry, we'll get to that, I promise. We're actually going to be aiming for Hidden Power post-League, which it gives us a lot more leeway. There's a lot of unique Pokemon in the Elite Four, so we can actually skip some optional trainers and not have to go too far out of our way. So anyway, we are going to take care of the plasma dudes in the container right here, no problems whatsoever. Then of course we're going to grab the expert belt on our way out of here to head towards the gym. And yeah, none of the gym trainers going to be too much of a problem. We got Grass Knot, we got strong coverage, and we even spent 2 rare candies so we can get Psychic early. So yeah, I'm not really expecting too much hassle from Clay. Alright, let's do this, Clay. Leads off with Croc Rock. We got a Grass Knot just for you. That's going to drop. Palpitoad, you are 4 times weak to grass. And then in comes Excadrill. I'm going to go for a Fake Tears, lower that special defense. Psychic is going to be a strong 2-shot. We cut it really close into the red, but we still get the W. Now you might be asking yourself, why did he go for Psychic as opposed to Grass Knot? So unfortunately, Excadrill is actually incredibly light. So Grass Knot is actually only 60 base power on Excadrill, whereas it's something like 80 on things like that Palpitoad or that that Crocorock. Yeah, Excadrill is super light for some reason. So the resisted Psychic was actually stronger. So that's why I really wanted to get Psychic before Clay, and that's why we got that extra rare candy in Anvil and spent them just in time to battle him. So speaking of, we got one more battle on our way out of town with Bianca. She's a little bit annoying with Musharna, but that's pretty much about it, and we can head into Chargestone Cave. As we make our way through Route 6, we do have some extra random trainers like this Parasol lady here. She has a Vanillite and a Frillish, pretty easy. And then I'm also going to go ahead and battle a Fungus real quick because it's right here. And with all this experience, we're super close to level 41, so I just run into the Arcan guy in there as we enter into Chargestone, and we actually get to our final form, which is fantastic. So I'm also also going to heal up at the doctor right before the gauntlet. He has a Swadloon, so that's another nice and easy hidden power entry. And then none of the gauntlet is going to be any problem for us thanks to our final form power spike. I'm going to head downstairs, do a little bit more training down here, and grab a rare candy. And on the way out of town is completely free. This is Pokemon is actually really hit its stride right now, and I don't think that we're going to have any problems as we head into Mistralton City. Especially because once we get to Route 7, we can talk to this lady right here, and she's going to give us the TM for Charge Beam. So this is fantastic. We will be throwing that over Fake Tears. It has served us pretty well, but a way that can automatically boost our special attack is fantastic. So I will definitely take that. This Pokemon doesn't get anything like Calm Mind like Behemoth did, and it just doesn't have like the raw damage output like Reuniclus did. So a way to boost my special attack, I will 100% take that. So anyway, we're going to take care of a couple more optionals as we make our way up through the tower, battle the Fatfish Nurse for a nice free heal, and then meet up with Skyla at the top. At the top of the tower, we can ring that bell to send Skyla back to the gym, and lets me say, hey, thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching this video. If you haven't already, maybe consider subscribing, or at least, leaving a like and a comment on the video. I'd really appreciate that. I do these solo challenges in Pokemon Black and White at least once a week. My goal is to eventually do every Unova evolution line, and then who knows, maybe I'll move on to, like the sequel games or other games in the series and stuff like that. So overall though, I have been enjoying this, and of course we're right smack dab in the middle of Spooky Month, so we're going to be playing a whole bunch of kind of thematic Pokemon for this month, and it's just been really fun so far. So this gym is going to be absolutely no problem for Gothitelle. Sure, we got Charge Beam, it's a little inconsistent and stuff, but yeah, we also got pretty strong Psychics to make our way through. So let's go ahead and face off with Skyla. Alright, Skyla starts off with the Swoobat. We got a Charge Beam just for you. That's gonna drop, and yeah, that's pretty much all she wrote. So, do miss a Charge Beam, no big deal. We get a boost, and then I'm gonna go and switch over to Psyshock just for the accuracy. No problems there. Easy peasy, 6 gym badge. Let's go ahead and head out towards Route 7 and meet up with Cheren at the foot of Twist Mountain. Now that we've reached our final form and we have a way to potentially even boost our special attack, this fight is no problem whatsoever. Liepard can hit decently hard, and we don't get the one-shot with Charge Beam, but that's okay because we can just pretty much one-shot everything else. No problems whatsoever. Torment is still incredibly annoying, but we get an easy dub. We can see Alder's wonderful bionic legs, get the HM for Surf, and make our way through Twist Mountain. We're going to do pretty much nothing optional in the Twist Mountain other than battling the Doctor just to get a nice free heal, and then we can pop out on the other side at Icarus City. As we make our way through the gym right here, some of these trainers do have Cryogonals. Now, Cryogonal is a Pokemon that has incredibly good special defense, but horribly bad physical defense, and that's where Psyshock comes into play, being able to hit on that very weak physical defense with our pretty good special attack, so that's not too bad. So, no problems at all in this gym whatsoever. Let's go ahead and face off with Bryson. Alright, say it with me, folks. Bryson is an absolute joke, and he's definitely going to show it here today because we get a nice boost onto that. Beartic's going to come in. It actually lives, but yeah, Gothitelle doesn't really care. We don't even get swaggered, and we're just going to be able to knock it clean out. Cryogonal, once again, terrible physical defense, so that Psyshock is going to blow it right up, and there we go. We have our 7th gym badge in the books. Let's head towards Dragon Spiral Tower. as we make our way through the tower, it's time for story time. So, yeah, as I've kind of alluded to earlier, whenever I play competitive Pokemon, I'm much more interested in competitive singles. However, I have dabbled a lot into VGC as well, because my own draft league that I host, which I honestly haven't hosted in a little while because I've kind of lost interest in playing draft, you know, it's in favor of playing these solo challenges, and I'm really enjoying the solo challenges, so that's pretty cool, is actually a VGC draft league. So I actually started this back in Generation 8. It is called the Castelia Battle Network. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And yeah, overall, it is just kind of like my own unique take on VGC draft. Whenever we were doing Generation 8, I allowed mythical Pokemon, which are not normally allowed in VGC. I allowed things like transfer moves, which I thought just made for a super unique and fun format. And whenever we made the transfer over to Generation 9, I still allowed mythical Pokemon. So much like the, nowadays format, I think they're in Regulation J, excuse me. They're allowing mythical Pokemon, but I did it before it was cool. So yeah, obviously I am the innovator. And it was just really fun. Of course, Generation 9, you can't really do transfer moves anymore because that's not really a thing, but I still think it was a ton of fun. So we also did formats with no Terra in the past, with restricted Pokemon as well and stuff, and it was really fun. So, yeah, all those are on my battle channel, Shadow Stitch Battles. So if you're interested in watching some of my battles, definitely go check that out if you want to. All my draft league content and stuff is over there. But I mean, if you guys would be interested, would people be interested in maybe another season of the Castelia Battle Network? Who knows? I could probably get enough people to play. I think it'd be pretty fun, and yeah, overall, I think yeah, it'd be a good time. So anyway, let's go ahead, wrap up the gauntlet right here, head upstairs, see End's fancy new dragon, and then we can continue on with the run, heading back to Nimbasa City. Pretty much nothing really interesting happens in the Desert Gauntlet. We do get to see the one and only Garbodor in the game, so shoutouts to the Trash Man right there. And we also get to pick up the TM for Shadow Ball, so now we have some strong coverage into opposing Psychic types. So let's meet up with Ghetsis on the bottom floor, get lectured at a little bit, and then we can fly back to Nacrene City to get a funny looking rock. And yeah, other than that, pick up a couple rare candies and head back to Icarus City and face off with Bianca. Alright, let's do this, Bianca. You're contractually obligated showing. We have Charge Beam. We're going to go for that, try to get some boosts. And we do get a couple of them on the Stoutland, so +2 should be more than enough to one-shot pretty much everything on this team right now. Psychic onto the Embar, that dropped. Same thing with the Simisage, and we got Shadow Ball now for the Musharna. No more annoyance from you, and there we go. Easy peasy. We can go ahead and meet up with Ghetsis and his ninjas on the bridge before we head into the shopping mall, and of course grabbing some calciums because we are a special attacker. So yeah, a lot of special attackers. I have been using calciums, and I definitely think that Gothitelle is going to make some great use of it because, like I said, it doesn't have that raw power like Reuniclus, and it doesn't have a consistent setup move like Behemoth, so we're really going to need that boost. After that, we're going to make our way through the gym. No problem with anybody in the gym other than, some annoyance from the dinos, since we don't have a great move to hit them, and then we can face off with our final gym leader. Alright, Iris, it's your time to shine. We don't get to see you as much, so Charge Beam to get a free boost, and then it's going to be Psychic all the way down. Dredigan's gonna drop. Haxorus, it is her best mon, and that is also going to drop. Easy peasy. You'll love to see it. 8 gym badges down. Let's go ahead, head out towards Route 10. We're going to do a little bit of training, and then it's going to be time to face off with Cheren. Alright, let's do this. Cheren, he leads off with the Unpheasant. We are going to go for a Charge Beam, of course, try to get a nice boost. Get a critical hit and a boost. We take that. Grass Knot is going to be enough to knock out that Liepard. Psychic actually drops the Superior in one hit, kind of impressive. And then Simipour, that's going to drop into a single hit as well. Not bad, easy peasy. We do still have quite a few Pokemon that we need to see for hidden power entries on our way through Victory Road right here and the rest of Route 10, so we're going to take care of that. However, on the Black Belt trainer in Victory Road, I'm not able to get back past the Scrafty because I don't have great moves to hit it, and I actually take an incredibly slow blackout right here. That really sucks. It always sucks to black out to somebody in the Victory Road because it just takes so much time to run back through. Other than that, I'm going to skip him and heal up at the doctor, and then we can make our way to the league at level 60. Alright, let's do this, Marshall. You're starting off with you, of course. Psychic all the way down. Of course, this Sock is going to have Sturdy, and that's going to be a little bit annoying, but we can just break that with a Grass Knot. Easily tank a Stone Edge, and there we go. Everything is going to drop. First member down, super easy. Always great when Marshall's not a problem. Moving on. So Caitlyn shouldn't really be a problem, right? We have super effective Shadow Ball. We can kind of just go for that. Reuniclus lives, though, which is kind of annoying. We're going to go for a Charge Beam. We don't get a boost. I'm going to try to get another boost. And then we get paralyzed by Thunder. That's really bad. So I'm actually just going to take a relatively quick reset right here. But this Reuniclus was on demon time, dude. Holy crap. I just keep missing. It keeps paralyzing me. I keep missing out on Charge Beam boosts. This was not supposed to be a hard fight. What the heck? So yeah, I don't know what this Reuniclus was, but it was hitting thunder after thunder, and I was just not having a good time. So let's go ahead and skip to the actual winning attempt. Alright, let's do this, Caitlyn. Can we cooperate today? We get a Charge Beam crit, and she misses Thunder. All is right with the world. We got our boost now, and we can just one-shot pretty much everything right now. So Sigilif is going to come out. I actually outspeed it. That's actually a little bit impressive. The Gothitelle mirror match, I get the leg up and get the one-shot. And there we go. Yeah, that fight was not supposed to cost me 4 resets, but that Reuniclus was just locked in today. Let's face off with Chantal. Alright, much like Caitlyn, this is a pretty similar fight. We're just going to go for Charge Beam, get a nice boost right off the bat. She does burn me, but shouldn't be too bad. We can just go for a Shadow Ball, but get Curse Bodied. Shouldn't be a problem, though. Psychic does actually get the one-shot on Chandelure, and we do have Grass Knot for Golurk, so there we go. No problems. 3 members down, only one very big problem left. So for Grimsley, we are going to dump all of our rare candies and get to level 68, as well as mixing up the moveset a little bit right here. This fight, I'm not going to sugarcoat it to you guys. This fight sucks. So Scrafty has really good special defense. We have to go for Charge Beam, try to get some boosts, and it loves going for Sand Attack. So yeah, that already super inconsistent move that we got to use in Charge Beam is even more inconsistent because we need to try to get as many Charge Beam boosts as we can. So yeah, Scrafty is just such a major problem for us. We kind of need all these moves. Maybe I could have substituted Taunt for Rest, but then I'm taking even more damage, and that's just not great. Able to get past the Scrafty, one-shot the Crocodile, one-shot the Bisharp. Let's go. All we got was one more Pokemon left. Fake out, and we miss Grass Knot multiple times in a row. That was the closest that we got for quite a while. Let's skip to the winning attempt. All right, here we go, Grimsley. 12 resets in. I'm actually going to go for a Grass Knot onto the Scrafty first, and then into a Charge Beam. So Crocodile's going to come out. That's going to obviously drop to a Grass Knot. And Bisharp, we can actually tank the Night Slash relatively easily. And just going about it this way, knocking out the Scrafty as quickly as possible, kind of cuts down on some RNG. So maybe he could have saved me a couple resets there, but that fight just sucks. And Charge Beam just sucks. Let's go see how Alder is dealing with N. N summons his gigantic castle out of the ground somehow, and it's going to be up to us to chase him down through it. I'll be honest with you, Alder, I'm not super confident about this one either. This looks like it's going to be pretty tough with this Pokemon, but I think we got, you know, some stuff going on, because before we head into the throne room, we're actually going to warp out of the castle, go battle a couple more trainers in Victory Road for the last few hidden power entries that we need, and I even hit level 69. Very nice. Then I can fly back to New Vemetown, where I can talk to Professor Juniper, and she's going to give me the hidden power TM just in time to head back to the castle, pick up one more rare candy in the throne room so we can hit level 70 over a very nice damage rounding threshold. And there we go. It is time to face off with the man himself. By having a full party, we can deny adding Zekrom to it, so we can leave Reshiram versus Gothitelle. I'm just going to go straight for some Psychics and knock out that Reshiram. We're even outspeeding it, which is pretty impressive for a relatively slow Pokemon. I'm going to go for a couple Charge Beams onto the Caracasa. That's pretty nice. And then a Hidden Power to finish it off. So we're going to go for a Psychic onto the Archeops, and with a couple boosts, we can go for our Hidden Power Fighting to knock out the last couple Pokemon. So yeah, this fight didn't seem that bad, right? So why did I have to go out of my way to get Hidden Power Fighting? Well, it's really not for N. N's team is pretty frail, honestly, and as long as you can get through his first couple Pokemon, he's not that bad. But this little tantrum throwing guy right here, it's up to us to take him down, and we're gonna see why. So, of course, Ghetsis starts off with his Cofagrigus. We're just going to go for Charge Beam, as you can expect. It's really annoying. It likes doing a lot of damage. We're going to go ahead and go for that. Bisharp's going to come out, and I'm going to rest off because I have to right now. And now we have Hidden Power, and because of that, we are actually able to very easily win this fight. Bouffalant's going to come out, Hidden Power for that's going to drop, and then the entire reason that I really needed it, Hydreigon, because yeah, I would have needed an absurd amount of special attack boost onto our Charge Beam to be able to get through that Hydreigon. And yeah, like I said at the very beginning, this Pokemon does not learn Focus Blast. That would have been really nice. But yeah, that's pretty much the only reason that I felt like I needed Hidden Power for this run. But let me know, cook down in the comments, what else could I have done for this? But overall, this was still a great run. We clock in with a final time of 1 hour, 43 minutes, and 21 seconds. Sure, not the top performer that, you know, some other Pokemon are, but for a Psychic type, I think that this thing actually did pretty good. Sure, it's going to struggle against Grimsley. Pretty much any Psychic type is going to struggle against Grimsley. But I think that it was actually pretty creative, the solution that I came up with, and being able to avoid having to go for pre-league Hidden Power did actually save quite a bit of time. So there was that. But maybe there is a better solution out there. I will never say that I'm the best player of these games out there, even though I'm the one that plays them probably the most. But anyway, let's wrap up these credits, see our final in-game time, and rank this guy. And there we go. We see a final in-game time of 5 hours and 22 minutes, 8 blackout, 12 resets. Not the best numbers in the world, but as we bring in the tier list, we see it is plenty good enough to get a solid C tier placement over Zebstrika as well. So that's pretty good. So two Pokemon that heavily rely on Charge Beam right next to each other in the tier list. Who would have thought? So maybe that just says something about Charge Beam. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, like, I'm not really going to say that I'm the best at playing these runs. You know, I'm not the kind of person that's going to just sit there and play like 12 runs in a row. I mean, especially because these games, they take a little bit longer than some, you know, early generation games. It's just not really going to be me. I usually will play, you know, one, you know, base run. I'll do some optimizations and then do one follow-up run, maybe a third follow-up run if I feel really up to it, and I feel like I can actually improve on the Pokemon. But this is where I leave it to you guys. Do you guys think that there's a better strategy than getting Hidden Power in post-League? Or do you think that getting Hidden Power pre-League would have been the better way to go? So let me know down below, and give this run a shot if you want to. It's actually not half bad for a Psychic type in these games. I thought it was actually pretty fun and pretty creative, because it kind of does get its power spikes at just the right times, outside of, you know, Lenora being terrible, but Lenora's pretty terrible for a lot of Pokemon, so that's not really anything new. Anyway, that's it for Gothitelle today. I had a ton of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to stick around because we still have plenty of more spooky month to go. And next time we are going to be playing with Galvantula. I have really been looking forward to this one. I think that this has a lot of potential, and I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope you are too. So anyway, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Like, comment, sub, all that fun stuff. I love you all. Deuces.